Wholesome family fun. On Friday, October 16th, 2015, the BYU football team played Cincinnati. Claire's parents came for the game and invited me to go with their family. I finished homework before leaving my apartment. I was running late, so Claire began the barrage of texts as I dashed to the stadium. Cars and people crowded the streets. "Claire, were you interested in going to the game?" Of course I was coming. This had only been part of our plans for the last 2 weeks. The whole weekend was planned out to the hour. I was pushing my way through the hordes of people that somehow wind up at every college football game. "Claire, we're already sitting in HH if you decide to come." "Claire, do you think you'll bake it?" "Claire, make it?" "Claire, John." "Claire, Johnny." "Claire, boy." "Claire, you." I entered the stadium through the northwest entrance, not needing a ticket because I had arrived so late. I knew the stadium's layout well, though I only ever went there for work. The predictable hordes of people poured around obstacles like pieces in a game of Plinko. The sweet and savory smell of concessions attracted lines of people enthusiastic about $10 Cougar Tails and grumbling about $5 24-ounce sodas. I never really understood sports, so the crowds they generated always perplexed me. The rumble of 10,000 feet stomped overhead as fans in the bleachers supported or jeered their preferred team. Cheering exploded a moment later. Whatever had just happened made a lot of people very happy. I stopped, withdrawing my phone. "Me, I'm here." "Claire, I don't see you." "Me, I'm walking to tea." "Claire, we are at HH." "Claire, I think you're lost, lol." "Me, you should come down to the portal." I was standing at the base of section HH, accessible through the stairwell by T. A sea of screaming faces stretched up forever. Claire emerged from the mass of bodies, face exhilarated. "Come on, we're about halfway up." I followed her. Mercifully, the game had already begun, and I didn't have to talk to anyone and expose my total lack of understanding of this genuinely baffling sport. I just followed the crowd's cue for when to cheer. One of the players must have scored a home run in one thingy, because the fans went wild soon after I sat. The night's highlight was when we left early to beat the traffic out of Provo. The plan was to follow Claire's parents to their house to spend the weekend. We would go to a movie Saturday morning, hit up thrift stores in the afternoon, and attend a local play in the evening. On Sunday, church. We rode in silence through the night. Claire and I were well into the drive to her house when Ed Sheeran came onto the radio, causing Claire to gush. Oh my gosh, I love Ed Sheeran. He's so cute I can't even handle it. He's definitely my celebrity crush. I shot a sideways smirk at her from the passenger seat. The concept of fawning over famous people always felt childish to me, but an honest response popped into my mind. After all, shouldn't couples be honest about that kind of thing? Mine is Chris Pratt. Claire did a double take at me, trying to keep her eyes on the road. "I'm not sure how I feel about you having a celebrity crush." We drove on in silence along I-15. Claire stopped at a gas station to fill up, leaving me in the car to pay with cash inside. She returned a moment later and began filling her car. When all was done, Claire fell back into the driver's seat and started her car. "That employee thought I was attractive," she said. He totally checked me out. With the weekend already off to a super great start, we sped on to Claire's house. We arrived after 10. "Oh, BYU won," Claire said, pulling out her phone as she shut her car off in the crumbling driveway. "Nice, it's a great team this year," I said, hoping that was an appropriate response. BYU fans seemed to say that at the start of every season, at least. We went inside. Claire's parents led me to the room where I would be sleeping. I dropped my belongings off and retreated upstairs. The house was old, with a slate rock fireplace. Knickknacks cluttered the walls and corners. 2 dogs barreled through the hallways, thrilled about meeting a new person. We stayed up talking with Claire's parents and brothers. "Does he know about Abby?" Claire's mom asked from one end of the sectional couch while pointing at me and looking at Claire. Claire nodded. "Yeah, I told him she gets home in June." "So are you going to try and get married before her?" Claire's mom asked with conspiratorial glee. Claire gave a sharp, dramatized intake of breath. I guess we'll have to see. Derek gets home in February, Claire's mom said. He'll be waiting for Abby while working and planning a wedding. You'll have to act fast if you're going to beat them. Come midnight, they went to bed, leaving me and Claire alone in the living room on a sectional couch before a black TV. We kissed, Claire's lips sliding over mine on slick lip gloss. Her body shifted, and soon she was on top of me on the couch. Her parents were sleeping in the other room. Claire, we need to go to bed, I said. We will soon. We continued kissing. Minutes passed. I felt myself getting aroused. For anyone wondering, becoming aroused against your will is not a pleasant or romantic experience. It's traumatizing. I grabbed Claire's arm as an anchor to slide out from under her. We need to go to bed. I stood. Claire followed me up and continued kissing me. She grabbed the small of my back and pulled me closer. My erection dug into her, and she groaned, holding me. We kissed for 5 more minutes. It was so perplexing and infuriating that I could give no effort, yet she continued kissing me. She had made it clear that she did not want to go to bed. Claire, I said. No response. I grabbed her shoulders and held her at arm's length. Listen to me. I shook her, voice hoarse. I need to go to bed right now. You need to go to bed right now, or we're going to have sex. Claire's eyes averted. Okay. I relaxed, happy to have stuck up for myself. I led her to the top of the stairs, where I planned to say goodnight. At the top of the stairs were 2 doors, one leading to Claire's room and the other to her parents. Claire's brothers slept in the basement next to the guest room. I turned to say goodnight, but Claire did not make her way to her room. She paused at the top of the stairs, looking back at me. What are you doing? I mouthed to her, trying to stay quiet to avoid waking her parents sleeping behind the door to my right. I want to walk you to your room. Claire didn't wait for my response. She began descending the stairs. My head fell back as I let out a silent groan of frustration. I followed her down the stairs. I caught her at the bottom just outside her brother's room, lights off. They were both asleep, I hoped. I grabbed Claire's arm, stopping her from walking down the hall to the guest room. Claire, I whispered, just stop. Why are you doing this? She looked down, abashed, toe-tapping on the ground. I love you. I just want to be with you. Scorn transformed my face, affection fleeing from my emotion toward her. She reached out and grabbed my hand. I looked at her with helpless eyes, wishing I could muster the courage to say, don't do this. Her hand holding mine, she walked back to the spare room with me in tow. Inside the oak-paneled room was a queen-sized bed and a vanity. Claire closed the door and kissed me. She pushed herself up against me. I pushed her away. She came at me again, crashing into me with fierce determination. I backed up. Claire grabbed my arms, digging between my muscles. She walked toward me, causing me to continue backing until my legs were against the bed. I sat, thinking I would buy myself time to talk by putting distance between our mouths. She climbed onto the bed, straddling me with her legs. I lay down and she continued kissing me. I shoved her off of me, no longer caring to be gentle. Claire landed on her feet and backed up to the edge of the room, crying. I glared at her, angrier than I had ever been. Why are you doing this? I don't know, Claire said. I just want to. Words failed me. You need to go to bed. My only defense. I repeated it, stronger. Claire shook her head, crying. Yes? More shaking. No, she said weakly. She kissed me again and maneuvered me back onto the bed. This time my feet weren't hanging down on the floor. I was lying fully on the bed, feet horizontal to my head. I thought back with disgust to our first day of church. Sister Stoll had admonished us to avoid kissing people unless both feet were on the ground. We had laughed when she said it. Now, however, it was not funny. It was an ironic memory of a previous life. A simpler life. Claire continued kissing me, lying on top of me. It didn't matter if I kissed back. She was an avalanche of passion. She started unbuttoning my shirt. We had never removed our clothing before. I grabbed her hand. Her body writhed atop mine, a wild beast dominating its prey. I squirmed under her. Arousal flared within me, consuming my body, becoming poison. I wanted to vomit and cry. She carried on, stirring within me a compulsive urge, a need for her to continue. But no. I tore my mouth away from hers, pleading with her to stop, to let me be so we could remain the happy, simple couple I had wanted from the beginning. But she had no interest in something simple or innocent. She wanted me. All of me. She would take my body at the least, and preferably my soul if she could get it. I would be hers and hers alone. But she would never be mine. Something of mine would never do this to me. I felt my arousal reaching a tipping point. My head arched back, and Claire was kissing my neck. I would orgasm soon if she didn't stop. I flexed and threw her off me once again. She backed away, looking devastated. I stood, arousal dissipating now that Claire wasn't grinding on me. "You need to go to bed. Now," I said. She shook her head, crying. Claire's phone buzzed on the bed. She grabbed it, reading the text. She looked at me and nodded. "Okay," she said through her tears. She was sobbing again. She backed away from me. "I'm sorry." She left the room and closed the door. I climbed into bed, still clothed. I sat frozen, shock making me reluctant to move. Nothing in this world felt safe, yet it was all just the plan, wasn't it? If I married Claire, this would be nothing short of the expectation. I would hate every second of it, and have no defense against her advances. She would remove my clothes, put me inside her, and have her way. And my response would be to close my eyes, wishing she wouldn't kiss me like she wanted to bite my lip off. How would I feel when she finally had her way? I wouldn't love her. I probably wouldn't even be able to look at her. 5 minutes later, my phone buzzed. "Claire, I don't like making you mad. I'll work on being better. I'm sorry I hurt you. Sleep well, bully." Yeah, she was always sorry. I flipped my phone over on the bed, screen illuminating the sheets. I turned over onto my side and tried to sleep.